Welcome to Eye on America. I'm Michelle Miller. Today we explore how schools across the country are addressing the issues facing today's students. In Maryland, we check out specialized mental health programs for teens impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And in Pennsylvania, we visit high schools where students can train for skilled labor careers. But we begin with the continued expansion of artificial intelligence into our everyday lives. While many schools are banning the use of AI in the classroom, one district in Georgia is programming it into their curriculum, starting as early as kindergarten. Christina Ruffini goes back to school to witness the future of learning.
At Patrick Elementary, about an hour outside Atlanta,
Are we doing this? Yeah.
these first graders are programming Legos.
Today we're going to look at this AI thinking skill, creative problem solving.
More than just blocks, they're building familiarity with technology.
So you're building a sequence of things you want it to do?
Part of a pilot public school program trying to prepare students for the challenges and opportunities that come along with the rise of AI.
Do you know what AI stands for?
Yeah.
What does it stand for?
It stands for robotics.
Close enough. It stands for artificial.
Intelligence. Oh my God.
They may not know what it stands for, but they already know how to use it.
You just need to press this.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
During our visit, 6-year-old Olivia went beyond the lesson and figured out how to program the sensor to respond to different colors.
Do you like coding?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I like that we could build stuff and we can do stuff that we haven't done before.
It's something Gwinnett County schools hadn't done before either. About 5 years ago, school administrators decided to use some of their regular annual funding to develop an AI-driven syllabus. First at a new high school, then expanding to a middle and 3 elementary schools.
Is this a gimmick? Why is there AI in these schools?
You know, AI is such a popular buzzword right now, but we've actually been doing this for a couple of years.
Sally Holloway is the director of AI and computer science for the district.
For us, it's thinking about what do our kids need to know and do to be ready for their futures. And we're not always messing with a robot, but what we are doing is teaching them how to think and solve problems with these tools.
Sometimes, however, they are messing with robots.
Some people code it, some people help design, come up with ideas. We all just work together as a team.
At Seckinger High, social studies teacher Scott Gaffney is incorporating the technology in less obvious ways.
Can AI help us develop a solution?
Students asked ChatGPT to analyze years of traffic data, then use the findings to help come up with solutions for safer roads.
How would you have done that lesson differently 5-10 years ago without this technology?
That would have taken probably about 4 or 5 days. The way that these kids think, they process information so fast. So if we can give them something challenging, real time, they are very engaged with it.
And by all estimates, machine learning is something these kids will have to continue to engage with once they enter the workforce. One study estimates 10% of the jobs created by the year 2030 will be in previously unknown fields, and most will see at least some level of automation.
Were you influenced by AI?
Down the hall in art class, students were asked to draw a sketch, then enter a description of it into an AI image generator.
Overall, it didn't really help with what I wanted or what I was looking for.
Debating if these computer-created works inspired them to change their original design.
Using AI sometimes helps me. Sometimes it's chaos. Other times I actually post a couple things that I can use, like certain angles of the head.
But when it came to the question of artistic integrity,
Do you think AI art is real art? Nobody?
AI is it's just taking everyone's work and just collaging it together, so it's technically not original.
it's an ongoing debate as the line between AI-assisted learning and outright outsourcing is still being defined.
Is there a concern that as these kids become much more familiar with these products that they could use it for cheating?
So when I was in high school, there was this thing that came out that everyone was really upset about called Google. And they thought that that was just going to really ruin education, and it hasn't.
But administrators here acknowledge there's a lot they, and all of us really, still don't know about the technology.
Almost every teacher today talk about the ethics of whatever they were doing with the AI.
We like to say that we lead with ethical conversations about AI. Just because we can maybe doesn't mean that we should.
Helping students identify, analyze, and utilize artificial intelligence while still growing their own.
I think that really opens the door to kind of let them choose the problems that they want to explore, and hopefully lays a foundation for where they're heading and the things they're going to encounter in the real world.
From advanced computing to basic arithmetic, math scores have been on a troubling decline nationwide over the past decade. Meg Oliver examines how one Connecticut school district is reversing the trend.
Great job.
When Dan Crispino took the job overseeing curriculum for elementary schools in Meriden, Connecticut, it was 2019, and he had a big problem to solve.
When I would go into classrooms all over the district, I could see that kids didn't seem as excited about math.
In a low-income district where nearly 75% of kids receive free or reduced lunch, math was a struggle.
We only had 60 minutes for mathematics.
It's now 90 minutes, starting with a 30-minute lesson, followed by a 60-minute block where every second counts.
3-minute warning, my friends.
The class is made up of tightly timed segments where students and the teacher rotate through small groups.
Understand the problem.
Every classroom is on the same lesson using the same math vocabulary. No one moves on until everyone understands the new material.
We're going to be trendsetters. People are going to want to know what we're doing in math. It's going to be that good.
Also, for the first time, tutoring is offered during the school day. With these changes, Crispino spearheaded a remarkable transformation.
Raise your hand if math is your favorite subject.
Oh, I like recess.
Colin Flynn may love recess, but he also looks forward to addition, subtraction, and division.
What makes math fun?
What makes math fun is that you usually get to work with a partner or go one-on-one with a teacher.
And why do you like that?
Because then sometimes it's like competition or sometimes it's you just reviewing and knowing what you did wrong.
Nationwide, test scores plummeted for 13-year-olds, showing the largest drop in math in 50 years and no signs of recovery following disruptions from the pandemic. But here in Meriden, scores went up at nearly every elementary school in the district.
What does the future look like for these students?
Opportunities to do things in college that are connected to mathematics, giving kids another avenue of what their future could look like.
A future full of calculated possibilities.
Coming up, a new program that simplifies safety and puts kids first. This is Eye on America. Keeping students safe at school is a top priority for parents, administrators, and law enforcement. Meg Oliver gets a first-hand look at new security software that's improving crisis response times and protecting thousands of kids across the country.
When an emergency happens in a school, response time is critical.
How much time are you saving here?
Minutes. We're about a 60% reduction in response time.
Ivo Allen is the founder of 911 Inform, security software designed to connect staff on site, dispatchers, and first responders simultaneously for anything from a fight to a health issue to gun violence immediately.
So we basically connect into the phones in the building, the camera system, the HVAC, all the technology that's in the building.
That instant access can be life-saving. 911 Inform works by notifying school staff before the phone even rings at 911 dispatch.
There are no students in the school right now, but you're going to give us an example. So you dial the 911.
Right, so I'm going to dial 911. So our system instantaneously picked up, notified exactly where I called. So if you look here.
Can you see inside that classroom?
I can click on that classroom, I can view, and there's a 360. Within one touch, I can lock down that building.
Lockdown. Police departments receive the system for free when a district signs up.
What kind of pressure do you feel in terms of keeping students safe?
It's pretty much what I think about all day long.
In 2019, school resource officer Chris Sandman brought the software to Morris County Vocational School in New Jersey after a chaotic lockdown.
There's no doubt in my mind that this system will save lives.
I can go to view map. It's coming from room 6.
Continuing with the safety of students, the COVID-19 pandemic had a significant effect on children's and teens' social and emotional well-being. 37% of high school students reported experiencing poor mental health during the pandemic, according to a CDC study. Nancy Chen speaks with students and instructors behind a new program that's addressing the lingering emotional impact of COVID.
What your generation experienced as a result of this pandemic, we still don't understand fully.
In Baltimore's Sandtown neighborhood, between classes at the Youth Opportunity Center, a particularly important lesson.
Other people in their stigma, let them live in their box, right? You got us, you got your community here. That's what I would focus on. Megan and Dr. Fink.
This is the Health and Education Training, or HEAT Corps, a team of faculty and students from Johns Hopkins University.
These 3 lines here are all crisis lines that you can reach out to if you're in a moment of crisis or panic.
The group visits schools throughout the city to discuss the science of COVID-19 and its continuing impact on social and emotional well-being.
By show of hands, how many of you are stressed?
We sat down with students Miracle Washington, Diana Perez, Cleveland Melvin, Eugene Hawley, and Derek Wright.
The pandemic, it just really it messed my whole head up, my mindset, the way I thought about things, and just everything in general.
What are the healthy ways that we can reduce stress?
I was going to say working out.
Yeah,
it helps.
That's my stress reliever, absolutely.
I would say crying and letting go of some things, We all lost someone. It was just strenuous on all of us. And then I noticed that when we did come back to school that I was more introverted, even till this day.
This scenario is playing out across the country. For years, mental health has been worsening among teenagers, but the pandemic amplified those problems. According to new data, 37% of high school students reported experiencing poor mental health, and 44% reported feeling persistently sad or hopeless. As schools shut down in spring of 2020, Johns Hopkins leaders across disciplines came together to create the HEAT Corps.
So we appreciate what you're doing.
Educator Annette Anderson and Dr. Panagi Scalia-Satos, a critical care physician, helped lead the charge.
Well, I think we need to give some greater consideration to the fact that simply putting young people back into school buildings did not erase the mental health issues that were generated because of the pandemic.
And that takes a tremendous amount of courage.
The program initially helped students and their families navigate medical questions, but one topic kept resurfacing: mental health.
Address stigma for ourselves. It's really important to first honor how you feel. Well, when you honor how you're feeling, you acknowledge it.
What is the solution here?
You're realizing there's not a support, there's not a sense of, do you have my back? There's not a sense of trust. I mean, when we finished today's lesson, they wanted to join internships with us. They wanted to continue working with us because for many of them, that might have been the first time people paid attention to how they feel. We are filling this void that while we enjoy doing this, don't get me wrong, we realize we need more resources.
They say the long-term effects of limited socialization aren't clear yet.
We were thinking, oh, well, they'll miss the prom. Oh, well, right? They'll miss their prom.
Graduation.
They'll miss their graduation, but they'll be okay. But we assume that, right? We have pushed that onto our teens, and they're pushing back and saying, no, we're not okay.
Especially after 2 years of the pandemic, it's just not a great time for them. The G.I. Joe fallacy is this mistaken idea that knowing something is half the battle.
Mental health has long been a focus of Yale professor Dr. Laurie Santos, who hosts the Happiness Lab podcast. Her class, Psychology and the Good Life, is the most popular in Yale's history.
Every time you hear that self-talk, think, would I tell my best friend that? And if you wouldn't, commit to talking to yourself in a different way.
And more than 4.5 million people have taken a free online version of the course. Santos released an adaptation of it for teens earlier this year, with more than 100,000 people already signing up.
Every day I would get up and teach my Yale students, and I would think, man, I wish they just learned this stuff earlier. When they really start to run into some of these mental health issues, we could give them strategies they could use to navigate not just high school, but into college and beyond. Part of what we're going to tell you about in this class is what I'm going to refer to as Psych Pro Tips.
Teaching skills that help teens manage the changes in their lives.
The class is really all about behaviors you can change to feel happier, like engaging in more social connections, sleeping more, but also ways that you can change your thought pattern, which is really strategies that come straight out of cognitive behavioral therapy.
This is meant for
strategies the teens back in this Baltimore classroom say could help them for years to come.
What did you take away from the session today?
Is so many more solutions to the problems that we might think are complicated, but we actually can simplify it in just a few easy steps.
I personally realized that during my first 2 years of high school that I suffered from like chronic anxiety. I overcame it, but I didn't realize that until this meeting, so it kind of like helped me awaken to something that I was dealing with that I didn't even know that I was dealing with.
You'll be the first one, the inaugural.
Anderson and Galiasato say that's why their work is more important than ever.
What is there to be hopeful about in this conversation?
I feel like our teens are resilient. I also think that they care about one another. So there's a great deal of just compassion that our young people in this generation has really developed for each other.
So my hope is these youth that are about to be the leaders of tomorrow are going to carry in and saying things need to change from a mental health perspective. That's what I'm hoping.
Ahead, students learning practical skills that lead to reliable, well-paying work. That story's next. We close our show with a career education comeback story. America faces a shortage of skilled trade workers like carpenters and auto mechanics. Now, some high schools are preparing kids not just for college, but for skilled labor careers as well. Tony DeCopel visits a school district putting a renewed emphasis on training students to enter the workforce with high-paying, high-demand jobs.
The problem with school, as many kids will tell you,
what's on level,
is there's not always a clear connection between the work and how you'll use it in the real world.
What's our total span if the run's 4'3"?
But that's not a question at a school like this.
The data says that the new jobs are in the technical fields. And then here you're going to put up the walls.
Angela Mike runs the Career and Technical Education program here at Carrick High and other schools in Pittsburgh, preparing students for jobs they know will be waiting for them at graduation.
It's phenomenal because you have a student who may be wondering, why am I learning this in math? And then they go into a class like carpentry, and then they put it to use, and now they can go back in their academic class, and now it all makes sense. So learning through relevant things really helps the light bulb come on, and I see that across all our programs with students.
Those programs include carpentry, automotive repair, healthcare, and engineering technology. And since taking over in 2010, Mike has overseen a 15-fold increase in the number of kids graduating with these industry certifications. A pretty solid answer to the question of what's next.
What percentage of the students who graduate have a job if they want one when they leave?
Every single student can have a job if they would like one.
But after decades of well-meaning parents and political leaders pushing a message of college for all, there are more trade jobs than graduating seniors to fill them.
Is there still a little bit of a stigma attached to technical or vocational, to use the old term, education?
There definitely is. It's not 100% where everyone is on board, but we're working on that.
It has a lock and handle on it.
And when our students go to class and it looks like this, they too know that other students may scoff.
What do they think of this kind of work?
They think it's kind of stupid of, I'm trying to get into a trade school. They want to get into college, but they don't have a backup plan if it fails.
Of course, for other families, including just about everyone we met on move-in day at Montclair State University in New Jersey, the college plan is still the only one.
Why college? Why did you want that path for yourself?
Well, my parents both went to college, so it just
It's kind of just like a natural consequence. Like, oh, they went, so I'm going to go too.
I thought that I would give myself a little bit of stability.
So you think there's more stability in a college degree than a trade path?
At least for me.
I feel like if I do college, I get more chances to have better jobs, better opportunities, and I'd be one of the first college students in my family.
I don't know, I just sort of just knew that, like, you know, just coming here was just
College
the best.
is the best way.
Yeah.
You say college is the best way?
I always think so.
How's it going?
I'm Tony.
Josh, nice to meet you, sir.
Yet Josh Henson is hoping more kids realize there actually is another option, and it does come with perks.
You get to a job and something's failed, but you have to figure out why it failed. That's the big ticket right there.
It's like a little murder mystery. It's like what killed this AC?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Henson is a 25-year-old HVAC technician in Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
Hello, good sir.
How you doing?
And when we joined him recently on a call, I realized pretty quickly some of the things they don't teach in college.
Wait, this goes on here?
While some may think of trade school as a plan B, for Henson, it was a preference.
You dropped out of a 4-year college to go to vocational school.
Yes, sir.
So if anything, you wish you made this decision earlier.
100%.
Can you make a 6-figure income in a career in this profession?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have guys at our job that master mechanics have been doing this for 10 years, 15 years, that are making 55 to 60 an hour.
And Henson says his company and many others like it are right now looking for that next generation.
HVAC, plumbing, electrical, all the trades. They're very, very understaffed. We definitely need as much as we can get.
All right, cut the other one, all right?
It's a need that could be met by students like these, if only more high schools would teach them.
My hope for the future is that more students take advantage of the opportunity for career and technical education, and they don't end up down a path or a career choice that doesn't have jobs at the end for them waiting.
So just to be clear, the pitch is you're gonna have a job right away.
Yes.
And you're gonna be doing something you love.
Yes.
Am I missing anything?
No, you said it perfectly.
For more stories like these and live coverage of breaking news 24/7, stream us right here on CBS News. I'm Michelle Miller. Thank you for watching Eye on America.